What is going on, everybody? We've got JT here. We've got C. Will over at the Passive Income Network. We've got David with Crypto for Change. We've got Monty with Crypto Nerd, and last but not least, we've got Cooper Daniels with the Recoup. How's everyone doing today?
Doing good.
Good.
Excellent.
Cheers,
everybody.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
It's good to have everyone back for the show. This is our.
Oh.
Oh, I've got a mug too. Let's cheers it up.
All right, there we go.
Hey,
All right.
What do you got? You got what's that juice you got, C. Will?
We got green smoothie.
Oh, it's in the blue glass orange juice.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I got my organic orange juice, you know.
That's
Fantastic.
it. I know you guys are a little later than me, right? You guys had time to do your yoga, eat your acai bowls and everything.
Cooper, I'm on the same time as you, bro. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just had to wake up
He was
really
a West
early.
Coaster.
Yeah. Good morning, man. Good morning. Yeah.
I just woke up about an hour ago as well, so thanks to my little man.
You're on that weird new dad schedule.
Yeah, I've officially made it now 1 month. My baby Luca, he is 1 month old now, so my appreciation for all fathers out there is definitely a lot higher, especially if you have multiple kids, and for all the moms out there. You really don't know what it's like until you do it yourself, and so hey, we've made it though. We made it this far.
Parenting is an eye opener.
Yeah,
that's it.
Makes you appreciate your parents now more too, because you think back and you're like, man, did they go through this for me? Oh hell,
right.
Well, congratulations on keeping your baby healthy and getting him to a month. That's great, man. Yeah.
Let's talk about some crypto.
Let's do it. Yeah, it's great to have the show back together. This is the second episode of the Algorand Roundtable. Let's jump into some topics. What are you guys seeing out there? Should we keep it lighthearted, or should we just talk about, maybe DeFi, maybe gaming, maybe music? What do we want to see?
I think all that.
Let's start with music. I think there's a bunch of cool stuff going on with music.
Yeah,
let's cool stuff going on.
Let's turn the conversation to Cooper a little bit, and if you could give a little recap of the Oculus space. I actually wasn't able to attend most of it. I jumped in 2 or 3 times and then got booted. I think it was my connection, and then I just kind of stopped going in.
Just gave up.
Yeah, if you exactly. Twitter sometimes rugs you. I don't know what you can do about it.
Lee asked me to host Spaces, and we talked about their roadmap. Have you guys checked it out?
I have not been able to check it out.
Yeah, I'm excited for them royalties coming.
Let's pull it up.
Yeah. And then, by the way, I shouted you out, C. Will. I was like, so when can people like C. Will, when can they use the Oculus app? And he was like, that's the plan. So,
okay. I got a couple records ready to go too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I feel like LimeWire is also going to be able, working with a lot of, artists as well. So there's definitely going to be competition out there. I don't know about Napster. I don't know exactly how they're going to be integrating that, but I do know that there is going to be a lot of competition in the Web3 music space, and satisfyingly enough, a lot of it is on Algorand. So I think that bodes well for, you got a lot of different, sticks to draw from. If one of them make it really big, that's huge.
Yeah. Well, so I'll tell you what my main takeaway from these spaces is that they are pivoting, right? They're pivoting from what they've been doing with Republic and Securitize. Because of it's a huge hassle with the SEC, and I think that they have Tyga coming, and then they're pivoting to not dealing with the SEC so much, which is going to cause problems if you want to invest in these types of things for if you're based in the States.
So hold on. So
that pulls up.
Yeah, so
for me,
this
at
is
least
getting
for someone who's
complicated
invested.
I didn't mean to anybody out there anybody that supports Oculus out there. I didn't mean to lead off with the worst possible news.
It reminds me of who else was like that? AlgoDex was like that. Algo DAO was like that. We getting cut out over here.
We always get cut out. I mean, in their defense, it's because of the lack of clarity. So I think it's been so difficult for them to do all of these things, and the overhead and dealing with the SEC has been, and they want to produce more. They want to do more of this. And so they're pivoting outside of that. I don't even think a VPN will work because I think there will be KYC.
Right.
But go ahead.
I was just going to say, and I'm as someone who's invested and bought, an MFT, I invest a little into the Lil Pump MFT. As long as like they can continue, pushing forward and paying out royalties to people who bought it, like I'm game for whatever gets the ball going, right? I mean, I get it. The U.S. sucks with clarity on regulations and what's what can happen, what can't happen. And that's a huge hurdle. I mean, it maybe shouldn't be so much hassle as it is, but at the end of the day, if they can get to what we all wanted, back when they launched, which is the idea that they could launch, the ability to buy into someone's music, and then once the song is launched, you're starting to see your royalties earn up, kind of like Lofty, right? Every time you buy a property on Lofty, you're seeing your rent every day increase. That's what I want to see for Opulus. That's what I want to see for if it's LimeWire or Napster or whatever these music Web3 things are. If I'm investing in these artists or in these royalties or whatever it is, I want to be able to see that I'm actually earning something. And I think that's what's kind of put me on a hiatus of investing in any of the, a lot of the stuff going on, even with LimeWire and what they've done and stuff. Is like, I want to see some, credible ways of return, right? ROI. And that's why I still think, I think they could learn a lot from some of the platforms like Lofty, but nevertheless, as long as we get to a spot where we're earning royalties, I'll be bullish on Opulus and the like.
I mean,
and they definitely said that's coming.
Yeah, it looks like Q3. They're saying the team at Opulus is extremely excited to begin the first of our music royalty distributions in Q3 of 2022. This, of course, will include royalties from Lil Pump, Kyle, and Art Ads campaigns, and I'm sure probably more as they come about.
One question, Coop, I have for you on there. Did they say, are they still going to be offering that backing or the double, I guess you would say? Did they mention anything on that? Because I know that when they had released the Lil Pump and maybe I think it was either Art Ads or maybe it was Big Zoo, the one right before. But there were some that were going to get grandfathered into that he was going to pay double the reward. So if you were earning
early adopter or something,
if you were earning 1,000 in Opulus, you were going to earn 1,000 in USD, C, I guess, for the full year. You would earn another 1,000 in Opulus tokens. Did they mention anything on that?
I didn't ask that. No, we didn't talk about that. But sorry. But and there was also one other thing was the O Vault, which is pretty cool, which is like a basket. They're buying existing music with like a steady like return, right? It's like you can kind of track.
ETF.
So there's like, it's like basically it seems like that, right? And so there's going to be a new token, which is sort of going to be like a stable coin, right? The O Vault token. So, look, and there you go. Look at this, man. JT, when I work with you guys are on it. Cool music. Look at all this. He's got this highlighted. But yeah,
he's on it.
That's it. Yeah, he is.
So it's saying the royalty vault, which I'm assuming that's what you're mentioning, operates similarly to an open-ended fund combined with utility tokens. First, Opulus identifies the best music investment opportunities from a range of music catalogs, and then music catalog is then added to the royalty vault and minted into O Vault tokens. Investors will be able to buy O Vault and stake to receive daily rewards. So it kind of seems like the O Vault's almost like a ETF to the whole music catalog, like and the entire royalties within that vault, which is a really interesting concept.
My question is, what's going to happen to the Opal token then? Is it looking like this one might be the dominator just by reading this one paragraph here?
Well, you know what I mean, and that's what I was asking. So I think that if you hold Opal and you're in the O Vault, I believe that you get a boosted return. Okay. I think that is something that you get, and I'm going to be talking to Lee again too, by the way. So this is also good for all of us to kind of get through all this, so we can, I make sure and get the best interview possible. But so I think that boosts it, and then there's all the rewards of being able to invest early into these things if you hold Opal, and but we didn't dive in too much into the utility. He wanted to talk, more about the roadmap and everything.
Yeah, and here's a quick paragraph. I don't know if this will answer your question, but it says every Opal token you stake earns you a raffle ticket that can be used to apply for exclusive rewards, early access to NFT drops, artwork, NFTs, swag packs, airdrops from partners, and more. The Opal you stake, the better your chance to win rewards, as you will be accumulating more tickets. As we progress with the pool, we will constantly be adding new exciting rewards and so forth. And there was also mentioned down below about Opal and USDC being used for their lending pool. So I'm sure there'll be a little bit of utility there. But yeah, it's really interesting to juxtapose it with the new O Vault token and see how that would work.
Yeah, for sure. And Go ahead. And
No, I was
staking.
just-
And by the way, Opal token, Opal staking through them is coming. I think that's one of the first things that is, coming on the roadmap.
Interesting.
And JT, I know you were kind of talking about, or I think it's with LimeWire, right? You have there's an artist there that you really enjoy. I mean, tell us a little bit about, what you're excited about with their new marketplace and possible collaborations or just things down the road to look forward and get excited about there.
Yeah, let's see if I can pull it up. But LimeWire just recently partnered with an artist named Grammatic, and I've been following him.
It's like the first one.
For sure. I've been following them since 2013 or so forth. And Grammatic was actually, one of the OGs in the crypto space. He was one of the first artists in like 2017 to start tokenizing his music and his art. He was actually lauded in an article as the world's first crypto artist. So he's a pioneer in the Web3 space. And he just launched an NFT on Algorand through LimeWire. And, once I posted about it, he actually liked my tweets and stuff. So I was just like, oh, come on my show. He hasn't responded to that yet, but there might be somebody that might be able to connect me with him. So that'd be really exciting. But
we'll figure it out.
What about like a media specialist from LimeWire? Has anybody got that contact yet?
The what?
A media specialist, PR, somebody from LimeWire.
I'm working on it.
If somebody does, please reach out. I mean, even if it's strictly just to help me get Grammatic on my show, and then everyone else can have LimeWire on their show the way they want. But I would love that interview. So
Yeah, I just think it's cool to just see that, like, I guess I'm more excited to see, we saw with the whole Web3 and NFTs, right? And the art NFTs, it really has bolstered the creator economy for anyone who's good at art, right? To come in and start creating and to amass a community and to grow and to then obviously be, some of the NFT artists in Algorand and especially in ETH and other bigger ones are able to make a living, right, off of creating their art. I'm really excited to see when one of these platforms will really start doing that for the creators in music, like Siwa. I mean, he's one of our own right here who creates music, and him being able to leverage his talent on a marketplace and be able to earn that, and any artist really. So, I see they got Soulja Boy and, a few other ones that have launched some things already on LimeWire, but I'm excited to see once we actually get, some more of the organic creators coming into the space, building on Algorand because they see it as a better alternative to, maybe what is currently out there in the music Web 2 industry.
Facts. What I'm seeing, question for y'all: how do y'all, any info on the ETH and Algorand LimeWire debacle? Is it fixed now with the NFTs?
Well, I think the NFTs are. I think those LimeWire originals are still. So far, it says 76% of the LimeWire originals are sold, but I still think they're all
ETH then, right?
Yeah,
based.
they're all
But
ETH.
I will say this: if you hover over, like if you're on their website and you hover over like Soulja Boy, it says Algorand. If you hover over Grammatic, it says Algorand. So like I think all of the other content is Algorand based, and you can buy it or buy into it, I think, with either Algorand, USDC, or ETH.
Or ETH, okay.
But it is definitely using and leveraging the Algorand blockchain. So that's good.
Yeah, it just seems
Man,
like
Algorand need a wallet like a trust wallet that can even hold ETH assets. That would put us on the next level.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting.
Yeah.
I think it was just their originals, though. I do think they're using Algorand for at least most of their operations. I think it was, the community kind of freaked out at first and then kind of learned that, maybe their freakouts weren't totally warranted. But staying on the topic of music, I'm really excited for Napster. I mean, not only because, of course, Algorand Inc. and HiveMind purchased them and they plan to take them as a private company off the public market, turn them into a Web3 company, which would be really interesting to see, but also because for those that care about the artists, I mean, if you look at this, Napster pays way more per stream than Spotify, Amazon, Pandora. It's like 6 times Spotify. It's like 30. It's like 30 times what YouTube pays. It's amazing. So not only will you be helping the artist by using Napster, but you'll also be helping Algorand out in the future. It's kind of a win-win for those of us in this community.
Yeah, absolutely. That looks good.
Can we use Napster for podcasts? Can we put this on Napster when it comes out? I think we can.
That's a good idea. Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah,
too.
do they have?
We should look into that. We should definitely look into that.
And you also have to think. I mean, right now the bear market, obviously, a lot of projects are. We're seeing a lot of projects, even just talking about Opulus, kind of pivoting, kind of rethinking some strategies and how they could better leverage the next, bull run that will be coming in the year, 2 years. I don't know how long this bear market's going to last. But there's still so
18
much that
bucks
even
on
with
average.
LimeWire and Napster, I'm sure they have under reps. I mean, LimeWire made the huge partnership with, UMG. So we've not seen anything yet still from that. So I got Taylor Swift, Justin Bieber, I mean, countless massive artists that once, Taylor Swift or Justin Bieber releases exclusive content in the form of an NFT, like, you don't think that's going to start catching some buzz, right? I mean, that's where
I
I'm
think
at.
you got to have patience. They might be dealing with the SEC too. At the end of the day, a lot
could be.
of deals in the background for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's
Bullish
turn the
on
conversation a little.
Web3 music.
Absolutely. Dave, you had mentioned that you want to discuss DeFi a little bit, and the more so of the topic of, is it here to stay or is it just a fad? So I'll let you take it from here, and then we'll add our comments from there.
Yeah. So my original thought was, and I kind of want to give a twofold part to that question. DeFi as it stands now, is it here to stay, or do we have to see a massive change in DeFi to really, keep it going, right? Because my main thought was like, is DeFi just some fun thing that us degens do because we're nerds and we love the crypto and we want to make more of it, or is it actually going to really compete and bleed into the banking industry, right? I mean, my background is 7 years of banking. I worked at a credit union and in the mortgage world for that amount of time. So it's hard enough to show people how to use a savings and a checking account. Nonetheless, all the stuff we do, right? And obviously, to some it's easy, to some it's not. And so that's my thought process, is how much of the DeFi and what we're seeing build, AlgoFi is doing amazing things, Folks Finance is doing awesome things. How much of those are going to really, take a foothold or a grab hold in the, bigger, broader banking world as time goes on?
I think it's definitely here to stay. I'm bullish on DeFi, and it's not like DeFi in prior to Web3 didn't exist. We had things like Lending Club, Investing Clubs, like we had peer-to-peer borrowing, lending. That type of thing was sort of always in existence. It's just that DeFi, as we know it, really takes our ecosystem, which is worldwide, and our connections are now limitless, basically.
Right.
And because of that expansion and the ability now, I really feel like we're going to get a lot of really cool DeFi options, more so than what we've even got right now. I see more coming up on the horizon for lending. I see large purchase lending. I see pools of investments that are DeFi, DeFi with DAOs. I see a lot of really cool combinations that just weren't available before. There you go, DeFi and the future of finance. There we go.
There it is.
That's a good one. I gotta get that one.
I haven't read that.
It's a fantastic book. It's very ETH based because it was written, a couple years ago, and that was one of the only platforms. But it's not really focused on the chains itself. It's more focused on the philosophy and the concept of DeFi. It's a really great book. I would ultimately agree with Monty though. It's certainly here to stay, but I do think at least things like lending, which is kind of the biggest portion of DeFi, and decentralized exchanges, but those are really the two biggest portions. I think for lending to take hold, there are a few changes that need to happen, which are tough to do right now. And that is, moving from an over collateralized lending to something more reasonable, because in the traditional finance space, it's easy for us to borrow because we have assets to put up for collateral. What about the people that, want to access similar types of loans and financial services that don't have that same type of collateral to borrow off of? So you run into this issue in DeFi because the platforms have no idea who you are. They don't have your KYC. They don't have your, any way to go after you in court. So you have to over collateralize to keep the protocols solvent. So really, until there's some sort of decentralized identity system that's actually decentralized and good, I don't really see DeFi taking off the way that it could, but I do think that that's one of the biggest hurdles is moving to a system where you kind of not necessarily know who the user is, but have a more have a better way to go after somebody if they do not pay the protocol. You know what I mean? Because as I said, right now the over collateralized lending is great for us, but it's not great for a lot of the world that doesn't have collateral to put up to borrow against.
Yeah. And it's kind of like us owning our own identity instead of, Credit Karma and all these credit agencies out there owning all that data and then share. And then like, if you work at a credit union, right, like I did, someone comes in for a loan, I don't trust you telling me how good you pay things. You can't show me anything, or most people wouldn't be able to show me anything that shows them that they're a good creditor. I should issue money to them or anything like that. I have to go to TransUnion, Experian, or one of the credit bureaus out there that would give me the information to tell me, should I trust you and are you honest? So I do agree, but all that power is in those companies. Whereas one day it could be you have your own wallet, your healthcare wallet, your financial wallet, your, credit history wallet. I don't know what it would look like, but you have those identities online, and then you can give access to a decentralized platform. They could then see your history and then make, a decision on maybe, uncollateral or, those type of loans. That's a good point you made.
Yeah, I think. No, you
go.
Say
two things. I read up on Global ID that XRP is doing. So things like that are out there where they're trying to do blockchain ID verification. And I ran into another article. I think it might have been ETH developers, but it's a way where kind of like what we got NF domains. We use that to link to a real KYC account where only the certain people could tap into it and not the public by just clicking on our information. So I think
kind of key.
Yeah, like a key. Yeah. So it would be given like, partners, like how NF domains are working out, their background partners can see it, but the public, it's still hidden. Like how, you click our wallet and we only reveal what we want to show them. So I think these things are in development for sure. But you go ahead, Coop.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say I'm fuzzy on the details, but Verita is doing really interesting things with like credit score and different things that you're going to be able to do. They're cross chain. I think they do a lot of things on Polkadot and on Algorand. But I think JT is exactly right about like, we need digital identity and we need a way. And I think Verita has a way for people to query, and then it's like a thumbs up or a thumbs down thing. You don't get any information other than, and it's, you have to, the user's in control of his data. And if you want the loan, you may have to give a certain thing that nobody actually can see, but there's some thing that gives it a thumbs up or thumbs down. So I think when it comes to loans, I think that that's going to be a game changer once this is actually really working and people can trust it. And then from what you were saying, Crypto for Change is like, as all of the difficulty of it kind of slips into the background and, all these different protocols figure out how to make it much more user friendly and it doesn't feel like you're using some, mysterious thing that is very difficult.
Yeah.
Which even it's difficult sometimes, for everybody, even people that use it. So yeah, you can't expect my mom to go get a loan in DeFi right now. So, well, my mom's fine because I can help her, but like,
it's kind of a smart system, for sure. You can go to the bank, you can go do collateralize, and then you can go do the verified DeFi loan. So like 3 different formats.
Yeah.
And I'll even say this in another kind of on this still DeFi topic. What are your all's thoughts then, with, in Algorand, we have, the big ones are AlgoFi, Folks Finance, in other Aave, Compound, you have all these other ones that are building out there that are massive. Are these DeFi platforms going to be the projects that evolve and, create that killer app, the one that has the user interface, or maybe another one that's yet to come? Or do you guys think we're going to see the banking industry, right? Not because they're not going to miss out on this. They know what's happening. They see it coming. The JP Morgan, the Chase, the Wells Fargo, all the big banks. Or do you think they are, with the money and the power, the influence and the regulatory pressure they could put, do you think they're going to come in and make it to where they create the killer product by, just them having the tools to do what they want to do?
Sounds like they will probably buy something like AlgoFi, right? That's probably it's probably how they'll handle. They'll figure out how they can take
expansion by acquisition.
Yeah, because that's, that's what we, 15, 10 years ago, there were so many banks, right? Bigger, they were more even, and now you just have a few that go in any city in the U.S. and the tallest building has Chase or Wells Fargo or those names on it. So that's my thought process is how much of these DeFi platforms are going to survive when CeFi really sees what the potential and whatnot and fully moves in.
Like we said,
what if it's a non-bank?
Mine and you know, Hive Mind, the rest of them, they're already doing it in terms of venture capital. So it is essentially,
and we're
even
seeing people move
Algorand,
over.
Citibank now, you know, it's happening.
Yeah. Algorand, it's got the, you know, we got Stacy from JP Morgan, we have Citibank people, we have more JP Morgan people.
More JP
we got
Morgan people.
SEC.
Is that
probably
is
more
that
JP.
frightening?
Yeah.
Should we be scared, or is it a bank takeover on Algorand right now?
Well, no, just as long as we stay, because what's obviously important is the decentralization of DeFi. Now, I know there's a lot of people being like, is it really decentralized? And a lot of times it's not.
Yeah.
But the fact that is, you know, the peer-to-peer thing that Monty was talking about with Lending Club. My brother was actually one of the original employees at Lending Club.
Oh, really? Ideas solid.
But he was just in collections, but he was like the collections manager or whatever. My brother's got an interesting story that's not for this chat. But but yeah, so I don't even remember what I was saying. I start talking to my brother and I'm like, oh man, that guy's
great wife right there.
DeFi Lending Club. I mean, what if it's a you know, a social media platform or something? You know, Facebook's been threatening to kind of come into the space. That's not necessarily decentralized, but I don't know. Like they might step in and say, we will be the platform that lets peer-to-peer connection happen because you're already connected there.
Well, I interviewed this guy from TribeVest, which is basically a peer-to-peer, you know, group crowdfunding, work with your family and friends. But yeah, I could definitely see it decentralized. We essentially are still just talking about DAOs in a way. You know, I feel like that's definitely all happening. But this space is evolving so fast that I'm not surprised by next summer what we're going to have on the market.
You know, I kind of talked to AlgoFi. Sorry, JT. I talked to AlgoFi last week. And, you know, one of my questions was, you know, you see a lot of like criticism of layer ones and kind of inflating the token by incentivizing DeFi. Now, clearly we're guilty of that over here at Algorand. And if you're not taking part in that yield, I highly recommend that you do. But outside of that, I was like, is that sustainable? And, you know, the answer kind of is no. But does it work? Right. And then he had a kind of like a two-part response to that. But then my question in the end was like, yeah, it's basically this. Like, how does DeFi survive, and how does, and especially like a layer one like Algorand, how does it like exert its dominance? And his basic answer was, well, I don't think that we've even gotten to where DeFi is going to be. Like, there's going to be more. There's going to be a killer app. There's going to be other things that come that isn't just lending. And, you know, what we're sort of talking about, which I think is cool and has use case. And of course, especially if you're in some underserved area of the world and you can get like a loan in US dollars, or you can, you know, come on, that's a big deal. But
we're essentially, we're in the pawn shop stage of DeFi right now. Like you've got something, you bring it to me, I'll give you 40-60% of what it's worth. And if you don't pay me back quickly or something happens to what you're holding, like, all right, well, you might get liquidated. Sorry about it.
Yeah, it's definitely useful. I would agree that it's probably not sustainable to do the rewards that way. But if you think about it, I mean, stimulating an economy is generally a good thing, but overstimulation is not unsustainable. They can't stimulate into perpetuity, but they can get the gears rolling. So I do think it is a good action in the beginning. And to your point about use cases, I mean, yeah, they might be limited now, but you know, one of the really great things that I've been able to do is transfer, you know, 20% interest credit card debt to like a 2 or 3% interest USDC loan, and just, you know, swap that out, send it to Coinbase or whatever exchange, and then go from there. Obviously, you can't send Algo USDC, so you have to do a couple swaps before you send it to Coinbase. But it's you know, effectively it's the same thing. So there are certainly really interesting use cases. But on to the point about killer dApps, let's talk about Web3 gaming. Is anyone up to date with Drone Racing League? They're announcing that they're launching a Drone Racing League first play-to-own game with X Playgrounds Labs on Algorand. I don't know if anyone's looked into this too much yet.
Haven't.
But
I've played their initial game that they had on. I have it downloaded on my phone. I think I've actually won like 3 of their little water bottles from placing in their tournaments. That's all I've won. I don't play good enough to win anything better than their bottles. But you know, I did a few interviews with the lead. I forget her. I'm dropping her name right now. But I had her on my
Rachel.
Yeah, Rachel, that's who it was. Rachel Jacobson. She came on my channel and she was talking about, a little bit of what they're looking to do. And obviously, if this is the gameplay, it's definitely going to be, a fun game to play. And especially because like drones and flying drones are going to be even more important in our future. So this is going to be something I think that, as the sport grows, it could be a big onboard for, Algorand and already have that partnership formed.
Oh yeah, that looks cool.
It does.
Yeah, this is the gameplay. It's like a drone racing Mario Kart almost. It's pretty intense. I
will
hope you
say
can throw.
this,
I mean, at the end too, like you can't see it because our faces are here, but it says download on Xbox, PlayStation, and all the other gaming consoles. So this is kind of exciting, honestly, to have a Algorand based game that is going to be on like all the famous consoles.
That is that so? When does this? What does this happen? Can I play this with my son on Switch yet, or what's going on?
That's a good question on the when. I don't know on the when. It's up here it says more details soon. So I mean, keep your eyes out for it.
Steam. That's cool.
Hopefully it's wallet enabled too, so you can win some
Xbox,
like
PlayStation, Steam, Epic Games.
Okay.
If it's Xbox and PlayStation, I doubt you're going to have a lot of wallet integrations there just yet, just because they've not, they're not far into Web3 like that yet. But one thing that I did find interesting, I don't know who posted it, but I was scrolling through Twitter one day, and it was a video of a drone, just like all those little obstacles that they fly through when they're, doing the drone racing league. But it was a computer AI controlled drone. And this drone was like flying through, and it was a tight course, right? But with such precision, because it could map it out after it did it the first time, progressively, it just got faster and faster and faster each time. So I was sitting there thinking, like, are humans really going to be the ones flying these drones in 10, 15 years, or is Skynet just going to take over and it's just going to all be, AI, just like Tesla with mapping everything? Like, how much is actually going to be humans flying these drones, that we're building right now?
Yeah.
It's getting weird out here.
It is.
It is getting weird. Mm-hmm. I do want to tell everybody that's in the chat that we will be going through the chat. I saw some people they don't look at the chat. Yeah. So I'm looking at the chat at least, but
I'm smiling. Some of these comments crack me up.
Somebody wants us to say Scaramucci too.
They want us to say Scaramucci. Oh yeah, there's that. Scaramucci Skybridge is not having a great week. No.
Yeah, that was interesting too, because I had actually tweeted out before, kind of poking some fun at him, saying, did you sell back when because he made the famous tweet, don't sell your algos literally the day the bear market pretty much started, if you go back and look at it. And he didn't like my tweet. He came to my DMs and was saying that it's we're a legit fund and we're doing great and all this. And I even went and got I talked to one of the advisors at Skybridge and got the prospectus or whatever and was looking through it. It didn't really give me the information I was wanting, which was to see exactly what they're holding. But it is an offshore fund. I don't think that one is the one that's in being frozen or whatever. But I think
it's the offshore. It is the offshore. Oh, I'm sorry.
No. Yeah, I think it's the main one. I think they're, I don't know if they're all offshore, but I think it's his Bitcoin fund. I think that might be seeing, the main effects of that. I don't know if it's the Algorand fund or not, but
they don't mention it. They say Bitcoin and FTX, and shares in or whatever FTX stock.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it is interesting that right after I kind of had that little Twitter bout, then the news comes out that people are wanting that he's suspending withdrawals and stuff like that. So there's definitely some pressure out there on, the crypto markets and everybody, feeling uneasy about what might come. I mean, I know the Algo fam is bullish for what could happen, here in the coming months with FIFA and stuff, but still doesn't change the macroeconomics and what's going on out there.
I mean, we're still in the bear market. We got to build the whole time, and then once we run it back up, we already know what's going to happen. Moon time. That's it.
But we do have a interesting week, which I would be interested to talk to you guys about that. But just the macro with like all the housing numbers that are coming, GDP is coming. Then we have the Fed. Like this week is
on Wednesday. Yeah.
So there's
oil stuff going on in Europe right now with grain, and it's going to be wild. Yeah, let's talk about it. What JT? What you got?
It's interesting out there because on the 27th we've got the next rate hike, which is likely probably going to be another 75 basis point. But I mean, there are talks that it could be 100. I don't see it being 100, but those discussions are being had. And the very next day, the Bureau of Economic Analysis comes out with their GDP data, which will confirm or not whether we're in a recession, which if it does confirm that, that'll definitely spook the markets. And then honestly, following after that, there's another like 13 days until the next CPI reading. It's already right around the corner. So just that in and of itself is very interesting. I know a lot of countries around the world are thinking about higher rate hikes than they were. So, we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah. And you're having all the stuff with China, with the banking in China. I mean, they were I saw, and some of the media, it's so hard to know like what's legit and what's just propaganda meant to spook and fear people. But, there's videos of tanks like surrounding banks, and I don't know if that's legit and what
I think it's legit, bro. Like they done this type of stuff before. It's not the first time.
And then you have all the farmers in so many European countries like blocking highways and fighting back against a lot of the stuff that you see going on. So yeah, there is definitely reason to think that the bottom is definitely not in yet. That's why I know, Coop, I was talking to you. I was like, I still have some shorts open. I'm hedging myself just in case. It's a small percentage. Like I'm still long algo. I love Algorand, and I think it's going to be here for 10, 15, 20 years plus. But I definitely don't think we've seen the worst of the worst yet.
Yeah, and I'll agree with the commenter here that the real test is when the Fed comes back, because after this rate hike in a couple of days, they're taking the rest of the summer off. They're not back until September, which could be good in the meantime, because there's then there's like 2 months of the Federal Reserve not ruining the party. But what happens when they come back? So certainly all eyes on that for sure.
I'm sure Gary Gensler will come in with a bunch of regulation stuff while they're gone, just to keep the pressure on.
just to keep it interesting, huh?
Yeah.
Well, at some point, so we see that, I think that the markets aren't going to really react to the Fed. It's going to, like you said, JT. Yeah, that's. I mean, I think housing numbers might spook the market a little bit, because I think those will probably be worse than people are anticipating. And I would like Monty's opinion on that. And then, I think GDP might be bad news.
Yeah.
I'm kind of worried about the CPI. I mean, I'm worried, the price of goods and, what that's going to like indicate for inflation. I'm still really worried about the inflationary numbers and the reaction that some of this stuff is going to have. And I think some of it's going to be knee-jerk reaction, versus the tempered sort of responses that we've been getting from the Feds. There's been a long history of us kind of like overreacting. And I don't know, once people get scared just a little bit, it's just like somebody yelled something like inflation and everybody starts running.
To be fair, that happens in both directions in the market. You'll get those crazy bouts of euphoria, and it's kind of an overreaction in one direction, and then same thing in the opposite direction. The corrections are also usually a bit of an overreaction.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, I obviously don't know, but it feels like the last CPI number was, because it's trailing, obviously, and that was really bad. But it does feel like we're in better place than we were in June. Like
I'll say this, what are y'all food prices looking like right now?
$8 for a box of Cocoa Pebbles at the Publix. That's what's up.
Really?
Yeah, $8. The Publix right here. I live in downtown St. Petersburg, which is a booming and very growing place. I mean, Kathy Wood's going to be moving like 2 blocks down the street, so everything's about to go 10 times higher. But yeah, it's like
wood stacks,
and then it's not even buy one get one free, right? And it's not even a mega size. It's like the box is getting smaller. Pebbles, and it's $7 to $8 for a box of cereal.
Yeah, milk is like $7 now where I'm at. I swear.
It's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Well, I don't know. I've actually seen
my coffee.
I'm in Los Angeles, and I'm actually seeing prices kind of cool a little bit. I'm not paying $8 cereal.
I'm still shopping at Aldi. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
I'm getting my shredded wheat. I'm not getting mini wheats. It's shredded wheat. I'm not getting Cheerios. I'm getting Oreos. I don't even know whatever the brand is called.
You got Oreos. You're just buying all generic. Poor guy.
It's so funny. It's like, how does it not taste the same? What does mini wheats put in their wheat that's better than the shredded wheat? Right? I don't get it. It sucks. I need prices to go down.
So people hedging bets, asset-backed crypto continue to rise. Things like Lofty, and there's a few others that are coming on the scenes, real estate wise anyway. But even the music, the SNFTs or whatever, those might be considered like asset-backed. It's a different kind of asset, not a physical asset. But I could see those types of assets growing because of fears in economies and standard I don't know, funds or something like that, right? Thoughts on that?
Absolutely. I mean, I completely agree, and I do think it's going to, asset-backed tokens, tokenization of everything is going to happen over time. So I think that's bound to happen, and in a way, I mean, there are some pros and cons to it, but I think it's overall a good thing. Like, a lot of tokens we're investing in is very speculative. They're not tied to any real-world ROI, any actual real cash flow or anything like that. So it's really hard to evaluate any of these cryptocurrencies or tokens that you're invested in at this level. I mean, traditionally you evaluate and you value an asset based on the cash flows and everything else that's coming into the company, but there's none of that or maybe I don't want to say none, but very little of that in the crypto ecosystem.
Yeah, what I see, the tough part is exactly what JT you're saying. Like, well, Opolis was a great example. Shout out to Lee, shout out to Opolis. But once you drop another token, then we kind of got to go buy another token, and we're not sure what's going to happen with the other one.
I mean, we saw what happened to Yieldly.
Yeah, so that causes a lot of problems. And then if you're looking at like my portfolio as well, the Lofty has performed extremely well. Looking back now at all the market, I didn't think about it when everything was running. I'm like, oh, let's go. Lofty's all right, but now Lofty's number one. So then it makes me also think of like life insurance plays and different annuities because they're still outperforming the market right now. That's my piece on that.
Well, and then also Lofty, which I don't own any Lofty. For a while, I couldn't really buy because I was in California, but I know I can now. But is that they're also a lot of those properties, aren't they like subsidized, like government subsidized, like rent?
I mean, I will say that is one thing with I get lots of emails throughout the week about, especially right now with how crazy the market's getting about, this renter's not paying, and we're going to enact this. And if they stop paying, then, we plan to get it filled by X day and rent payouts will resume in, this amount of time. So I don't think you fear losing so much, unless the market, housing market just collapses. If you bought one token for $50, most of my tokens have grown. Most of my tokens are worth like $51 or $52 now. So I've gained some money there, and I'm still earning the rent daily, but there is the chance that their property some days I'm not earning because the renter just got evicted, and now we're waiting for a new one to come in. And I think if the market gets worse, you could see some crazier things happen. I saw someone in the comments say, what about a bank run type situation on Lofty? Now they do have some verbiage on their website of how they are going to, how they would handle a situation like that. But, there is truth to that. I mean, I've sold a few tokens. I know the process. You pretty much just have to send it back to their wallet. But what if a bunch of people just get spooked and everyone just starts sending their tokens back? That could cause some troubled waters.
Well, that's what Lofty's moved to be a marketplace. They've been trying to position themselves. Yeah.
Because I got an email from Lofty that and this is kind of answering someone's question about what happens when a deal don't go through. I got an email and Lofty saying that they're going to refund me for the 10, 20 tokens I bought in that deal. So that's what's kind of happening. Because people's confusion with Lofty is that what someone just kind of said on here, they take a 5% fee, so they get their money up front, but what they're doing is facilitating us investors purchasing the property. A lot of people think it's Lofty who's buying them then reselling. That's not what's happening.
Yeah, it's not always the case.
And the 5% is new. That was not when I first sold my tokens. That 5% had not been enacted yet, so I got everything. Whereas now, and it's not 5% on, if I'm remembering correctly, it's not 5% on your initial investment. It's the appreciation
5% of gains.
Yeah, I think that's where the 5% is taken into effect. But nonetheless,
it's effectively their way of keeping the listing fee, which is probably their main mode of revenue, to be honest.
Yeah, and they have to make revenue, right, to keep the product going and to continue, paying for repairs. I mean, especially as it gets bigger, they're going to have tons of right. Money makes the world go around.
To the point about bank runs, though, I mean, as of right now, yes, because they don't have their secondary market. Yeah, you would be selling your tokens back to Lofty if you wanted to do that. But once the secondary market opens up, I mean, in theory, there has to be a buyer there for the sale to take place. So if somebody's not on the other end of that transaction, would there even be a bank run? It'd be very interesting to see, because you're not just like selling it into the ether. You'd be selling it to somebody else. There has to be a buyer on the other end of it. I'm not too concerned about a bank run, but I know there's people that are concerned that the housing prices themselves could come down. We had like a 20% crash in 2008 around right here.
Recovered quickly.
It did recover quickly. Granted, we had a lot of stimulus to recover it, and we do have high inflation, so that level of stimulus might not happen again. But
No.
for anyone owning a home during this period, it was awful. It was catastrophic. Your home prices went down 20%. You're now, you're now under on your loans and what have you. But
Don't remind me.
But for investors like us, especially people in the crypto space, I mean, if your real estate portfolio went down 20%, I mean, is that really going to hurt you that much when your crypto portfolio is down 75%?
90%.
It could be a great time to just keep buying. So I don't want to undersell the fact that for a homeowner, then yes, that could be terrifying. But for a investor, it could just be a great opportunity and a lot less terrifying because you go back and look at this chart again. I mean, this goes back all the way to 53, 1953, and it's basically up and to the right.
Yeah.
So even with all these 10% ups and downs and crashes in the market, it's still been a really solid asset to invest in.
I don't think we're going to move backwards, or not backwards for very much. I think that just the steepness of that curve is going to sort of taper off a little bit.
Absolutely.
It's not like 2008. We don't have massive delinquencies, and people aren't foreclosing, people aren't getting out of their houses, and that really, because of all the foreclosures, distressed sales, drove the market price down. It was a bad spiral. And we don't have that.
Yeah, and we don't have as many of the awful loans that caused the 08 financial crisis, which is the adjustable rate mortgages. Now, I will say I actually got an adjustable rate mortgage when me and my wife lived in Kentucky, but there was so many rules on how high the rate could jump. There was not those protections in 08. So, that's what caused so much of that. I think we're definitely in a better spot, and I don't see a crash happening like we did in 08, but I do see a cooling off like we're already seeing happen. Even JT, you've said many times on the next block and on here is, they may say we're in a recession, but we've already probably been in a recession, and by the time they announce it, we're probably either at the bottom or honestly on the way out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're definitely cooling off. I mean, this is from Redfin. Home buyer competition dips to lowest level since 2020. So we're getting back to reasonable levels. I mean, that was still elevated though. You go back, but granted, this was coming right out of a pandemic. So yeah, this isn't the best time frame to compare it to. I kind of wish this chart was maybe a couple years.
This is starting the pandemic. This is the beginning of the pandemic. Yeah.
Up until now. So I wish that it went back a couple more years so we had actually something to compare it to, but it is coming back from the highs, from the highs in January.
Well, and it had to.
We're down about 20%. Absolutely.
I mean, if you live in Los Angeles, like, or I'm sure where you guys are living too, but like housing is psychotic. Crazy. Yeah, Portland. Yeah.
Sick over here.
It's like people with NFTs.
Yeah.
We should talk about NFTs. You guys want to talk about NFTs?
Flipping houses, flipping NFTs, same kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's all.
I'll say NFTs.
Well, if any sales people out there need a realtor,
yeah, right. What in the
could you imagine
the metaverse?
Yeah. Could you imagine if jobs open up for that kind of stuff? That'd be insane. Well, go ahead. I know you wanted to talk about NFTs.
I was going to say, two drops that I've seen recently or participated in. One, me and Coop got the same Tiger Chi. We in the same clan. So, Tiger Chi dropped a V2, and I seen everyone went crazy over the Friends, the Yieldlings Friends.
Yeah, how do I get one of those? I didn't do it yet. I missed the boat already.
Now the floor price I saw is like 650 algos.
Yeah,
so.
Nobody tell Monty. I'm not telling Monty. Don't put it in the comments, guys.
I got 3 Mingos and a Yieldly or something. I'm supposed to like claim them somewhere.
Yeah, you got to.
Yeah, you should do that. Yeah, do that. Okay. Or sell me your Mingo. I'll give you 900 algo.
I'm so bad about this stuff sometimes. I just remembered I had an Algo Saiyan from like months and months ago still posted on their website staked, and I got a banana. I have no idea what the hell I'm supposed to do with a banana.
Those are coming out. He actually, the creator, Algo House, he took a break. I think, just with the bear market and everything that was going on, he took a break for about a month, but I'm in the Discord and he just announced that the Gen 2 is about to be released in the coming weeks. So,
okay.
So I have 3 staked. I have three bananas, so I'm excited to see what comes from that one.
Okay. Oh, another update. Alchemon Beta 2 dropped, so their game has. David, you played it.
Yeah.
Hey, most Friends launched yesterday, right?
Yeah,
most Friends was yesterday.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I'm noticing a lot of which I always enjoy to see, like on Twitter. You're seeing like, okay, well, I don't own a lot of Algo NFTs. I'm a Solana guy, but I kind of dig these mostly Friends. So I'm seeing that vibe out there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every NFT that bangs is the ones I don't buy.
This is the daily NFT sales.
We're doing great, man.
Yeah.
This is the daily NFT going back for about 4 weeks. This is the daily NFT sales on Algorand, and you can see this bar right here. This is the Mostly Friends launch right here. It kind of got smaller. I don't know why that happened.
Spiked.
But yeah, this one right here is the Mostly Friends drop, which is the highest it's been in 4 weeks, which is kind of impressive, honestly.
Do you guys think there'll be any? This is like, I don't know if you're going to have a good answer for this, but do you think there'll be any excitement for Algowana V2?
I think so.
Probably, yeah.
You think so?
I just think so. Basically,
I was joking, by the way, guys.
Do I have an Algowana? No. You know what? I need to hire someone that spends all the time being in all these NFT ecosystems to know which one's going to hit, like an investor, but for NFTs. That's the position that needs to open up. I need to hire someone.
Absolutely. I'm hiring, actually. I don't pay very well, but I'm hiring but I'm hiring somebody to do thumbnails, timestamps, and buy me NFTs.
There you go.
Hey, I can cover your thumbnails and timestamps. Hit me up in the
Okay. All right, let's do it.
You're gonna get the Coop tokens for those.
Yeah. Coop coin.
Speaking of
I keep on threatening that. I know we got Nerd in the building.
We got Nerd.
Coop coin is coming with much less utility.
Silly.
Oh man, I mean, staying on the topic of NFTs though, this is a pretty impressive chart to look at as well. This is the month-to-month sales going back from I think March of 2021 until now, and you can see it's just up and to the right. I mean, it seems like we've kind of peaked a little bit, but in all honesty, it just seems like Algorand NFT scene just continues to grow. I'd be really interested to see how this looks, maybe 6 to 12 months from now when you compare it back another year.
And Algorand NFTs has been trending, a few times on Twitter the past few weeks. So I think it definitely is gaining traction. Hopefully, the Mostly Friends and the Algowana V2. I mean, and even some of the Alchemon, Fractal Monsters, the Flemish Giants guy. That game. It looks good. I follow him in the Discord. I follow the sneak peeks. It seems like it could be. Right? Yeah, it seems like it could
your little animal.
Yeah, it could maybe not like Axie Infinity level, but I think it has the bones to really grab an audience and like Alchemon's fun. I'm not gonna I enjoy playing it, but like I'll be honest,
more, of course.
Well, it's when I played Pokemon growing up, right? It was the whole adventure of exploring the world and you not knowing what Pokemon you're gonna find here and there. Like Alchemon, it's fun to collect the cards into battle, but like it's not, it has a long way to go to really, I think, attract the masses. Whereas something like Fractal Monsters, it seems like they're putting in a lot of legwork early on that once they launch, it could grab a lot of buzz. And it's a game that I feel like could keep someone playing for hours on the day. Whereas Alchemon's like, I may play a couple matches here or there, earn my 6 Alche coin for each win, and then I'm going to go do something else. Fractal Monsters and some of the other games, maybe even the Drone Racing League, those type games. It needs something that like League of Legends for me. Like I could stay in front of my computer and play for 3, 4, 5 hours. Now I don't sometimes, but
that's coming to that's coming to Zone, right? The League of Legends.
I
think that was a clickbait.
I mean, obviously they have the hyper casual. They just launched on mainnet, and you can pay 1 algo, and I think right now the payouts on most of the games are 5 algo if you win. I don't know if that's split between the winners or if each person gets 5. I've not tried it yet, but they say they want to integrate League, and I've actually talked to them about that whole thing and me being someone who could possibly stream for them to kind of gain that attraction, but I don't know how far down on their roadmap that's going to take. So I think right now they're just kind of focused on making sure that the hyper casual games work before they try integrating something I think as big as Counter-Strike or League.
Yeah, and I will say that Fractal Monsters having Block Runner doing the art is an asset. That's for damn sure.
Facts.
Yeah, the art looks amazing. I was looking at some of them, and like I say, Alchemon's got great art, but I think Fractal Monsters has it beat with me. Just look at the detail and the I don't know. I look at some of them and I'm like, ooh, I jive with that one. Like it's almost like an NFT. You see the NFT and you're like, I really like that. I want to buy it. I want to grow it, or
identify with it. Like
exactly, just like that. One topic I want to, as we shift away, I know we're getting close to an hour, so we'll probably end up hopping off here soon. But one topic I'm interested to see as well for you guys on my Twitter, and obviously I don't watch a lot of the news, but we do watch some TV, so we see bits and pieces here and there. And I think I'm seeing less of COVID, right? I'm not seeing as much talk on COVID, but I'm seeing tons and tons of more talk on climate change, global warming, stuff like that starting to pop up again. I mean, and it's kind of funny because some of the posts, like they're talking about in England this year or in Europe, the weather being so hot, but yet some people are showing that last year around this time it was even hotter. But obviously the media does what the media does, and they'll make everything seem like it's something crazy, even when it might not be. But with Algorand being this carbon negative chain and environmentally friendly, if there is a huge, push coming the end of the year, and this is where the media just takes everything, do we think Algorand will benefit greatly as one of the leading cryptocurrencies in the space for being carbon negative?
I think it's a great play.
So.
It's a great angle. Yeah. We're all excited about that.
I wanted to comment on our SCOTUS, isn't that what we call it? Supreme Court. They're like against the climate. They just passed new laws that are kind of making it harder to help out climate. So in the U.S., I don't think we're going to be good on terms of climate. We see that weather and conditions are clearly getting worse. Too many extremes everywhere. So I feel like it's going to be up for the rest of the world to make decisions on that.
Right. And I get my question's not really aimed around
Algorand. Yes, Algorand could.
Yeah, it's more aimed around like with things like Bitcoin, right? Because that's the huge attack on things like Bitcoin and ETH is the environmental impact that the gas fees and all that stuff costs, and the mining and all that. How much do we think out of all the other cryptos and the layer ones out there that could this be, along with things like FIFA and just it growing in DeFi, TVL, how much is the climate possibly, climate change debate and discussion going to help Algorand move up the chart and up the level?
I think it matters for sure.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I mean, it's interesting because we didn't talk about it, but we did have something interesting come from the SEC this week, where and the reason why I'm bringing this up is because Gary Gensler is pretty unequivocal about Bitcoin's a commodity, right?
Yeah.
So that's the deal. He's come out and said Bitcoin is, what did he say? SCOTUS super corrupt old timers. Yeah. And so, yeah. And then they labeled a few that we may recognize. I mean, AMP is definitely one that I recognize. LCX is another one that I recognize as securities. Now, Algo was left out of the security talk in this initial kind of, regulate by litigation type of thing that they're doing over there. But yeah, I think that it's going to be interesting when you talk about climate and then the Bitcoin conversation, even though that Bitcoin, it seems to going to be, it's going to be at least regulated like a commodity compared to other things. I think Algorand is going to, I think it's just as long as we stay out of that crosshair, I believe in it. Like, I think, what is Solana? Like I don't understand. I think JT, you liked a thread about Solana last week that brought it to my timeline, and it was interesting. The guy really kind of took it down. I forget.
I know who you're talking about. Justin Bones, something like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He does really.
He does
really
a deep dive on a lot of major ones. And
really great deep dives. Not just we're not just Solana haters. He does really great deep dives on a lot of stuff. So for anyone that wants to look, this is his.
That's that guy. Yeah.
This is Twitter feed right here. He's the founder and CIO of Cyber Capital. He's a brilliant guy.
Cool.
As you were saying though.
Yeah, so I'm just saying that, like, look, we're here. We're obviously there's an A in the bottom right corner. Like, we all believe in Algorand, and we think that. But I'm just as convinced as I've been for over a year now. You know what I mean? So and it just takes some patience, and patience is difficult when you feel like maybe
I honestly do believe in it. Like I say, I obviously hope, right now my finances, I really hope that it's within the next year, but I do believe that for the Algorand holders and the people who are building on the network and helping grow the network, there will come a time where we are seeing like the ETH people like, oh man, if only I would have been paying attention and been early, we're going to have so much more power and money to really do things and help grow and invest and build and grow this network as it hits the next bull run. Could take a year, could be 2-3 years, when Bitcoin does its next halving. But I do think there's going to come a time where Algorand is in that top 5, if not top 3 discussion, and people are going to wish that they were paying more attention to it.
And then, by the way, you can't underestimate. I know people like to knock down NFTs and especially like profile pic NFTs, but don't underestimate the hype that these things create. And the fact that, so a lot of people are like, oh, I want to mostly friends, or, I want to get into the Gowanna DAO. This is my opportunity. These are, and then with cool, like, the guys at NFT Domains, NF Domains. I always say NFD Domains. That doesn't make sense. But NF Domains, Patrick, ARC19, these kind of like changing NFTs. Like, this stuff is cool.
Yep.
Yeah, stuff's cool. And so Project Raven, they're launching.
What's up with Project Raven? I don't know. Real quick. I don't know what that is.
So it's these hot women that you can kind of
okay,
and you can add like different traits, and I think they evolve and they can be changed. And I'm going to learn more. I'm going to talk to them.
What websites are you on right now? I'm kind of worrying about you here.
I'm like, I really like Project Raven, guys. It's been a while.
Everyone leaves alive. They just went to Twitter to find out what Project Raven is. That's
right. Traffic is up.
Hey, Coop, I got another one for you too. Someone, I don't know if he wants me to share, but I'm gonna do it. Algo Babes. It's a new deck of cards that you might like as well.
I want a full deck, man. I need a full deck. I don't know. I've never heard of Algo Babes.
Yeah, you'll hear about it soon. Like, you'll like that one. Yeah.
The Algo Babes.
Is this the passive network NFT?
Someone like, we talked about overstimulating. We talked about someone needs to clip all this and make some funny, like really funny clip from our discussion today.
Yeah.
Oh man,
talking about hot girls on Raven and Algo Babes.
Fantastic. I think that's a great way to
we're gonna wrap
off the show and pick up where we left off the next time. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Fantastic. Right. This was absolutely a great time. I appreciate everyone coming together again. I know it's hard to get all 5 of our schedules on the right page to do this, but I know the community likes it. I appreciate it. It's a lot of fun. For everyone listening, I don't know where you're listening from because there's multiple channels, but go subscribe to everybody. We've got Passive Income Network, Crypto for Change, Crypto Nerd, The Recoup, and JT Invest in You. Give us all a like, comment on whichever video from whichever channel for the YouTube algorithm, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, thanks for joining, everybody. See you.
Everyone.
Thanks for tapping in.
Thanks, guys.